A very good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Manish Arora, faculty member, Department of Applied Art, Faculty of Visual Art, Banaras Hindu University, and principal investigator of Spark project from Ministry of Education. Now with us, Sri Bikram Pal from Srishti, Manipal Institute of Design, Bangalore. Welcome, Bikram.
And good morning. Good morning.
And this Fundamental of Social Design part-time 3-month certificate course is running in association with Maryland Institute College of Art, MICA, Department of Social Design, Baltimore, USA, and Michigan State University, USA. This is the second lecture in terms of contemporary design in India. So now Vikram sir will explore more opportunities and experimental things related with the contemporary design scenario of India. Now I am handing over the session to Vikram and requesting to him, please start the session. And maybe this will be an interactive session and students may participate anytime. Yes, Vikram.
Thank you. Thank you one more time for inviting me. And before that, I want to just share my screen. Hope
it's visible.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. So hello everyone, very good morning. I hope you all are doing well. This is my second session about the topic and overview of enduring Indian legacy of design in aspects of graphic art. So I'll start with last day's conversation. We discussed about graphic on automobiles. So we discussed about word like horn, please, India is great, use dipper at night, wait for side, national permit. These are the some of the many messages we find painted on the rear end of the Indian trucks, right? So, but if you pay attention to more than just the rear, you will be delighted to see the brilliant art on those magnificent truck, the slogan or the precautionary traffic messages or the colorful paintings or the attractive calligraphy. So if I go to the next slide, here you can see some experimentation. Yeah, see, it is written on please. This is also another example. Okay, so now I'll try to discuss about the typography and the font. There is one font called Painter Kafil. It is a digitalized version of the hand-printed lettering, originally done by signboard Painter Kafil, and it consists of 9 fonts, which were together. It's recreate the unique multicolored look of Indian street lettering. So hand printed type is basically a project initiated by Hanif Qureshi that is dedicated to the preserving the typographic practice of the street painters around India, across the country. So these painters, with the advent of local DTP, that is the desktop publisher shop, which is in every corners we see that the DTP desktop publishers shop and are rapidly going out of the business, basically the hand-drawn artists, and with many of them switching to the quicker, cheaper vinyl, or may the painters has given up their practice altogether. So to preserve and promote this visual treats, Hanif collaborated with Sarang Kulkarni and to convert some of the hand painted type into digital fonts. So basically the project involves documenting the typefaces of roadside painters across India and digitalized it so that it serves as a resource for present and future generations. So actually the reality in the life of the street painters and their struggle is to earn their livelihood, and with the rapid growth of this DTP shops, street painters started going out of business, and many painters also gave up their patience and they just stopped their practice, and therefore many of them started switching to quicker and cheaper option, that is the vinyl print or the flex print. And in order to preserve this vanishing, we can say, the variety of hand painted forms or the types in India, Hanif traveled to many cities throughout the country and visited street painters in order to help their practice alive. So Hanif has basically depicted certain observation that were made about the hand painted type. For example, most varieties in hand painted type show cultural and regional influences in their styles, and also the choice of color. The choice of color varies from region to region. So he gave recognition and credibility to the street painters and brought them to the limelight. So among several different kind of hand painted type, what Hanif called the, that is, you can see the fruit juice style is very interesting one. And the style is typically seen in most of the part of juice parlor, the most juiced parlor in Delhi. So this is a font, the digitalized version. The font name is Painter Kafil. This is the another version, color option. Yeah. So this is actually the name of the font. The digitalized version of the font is Painter Umesh. This is also a digitalized version of hand painted letter, originally done by former street painter, and his name is Umesh, and he's representative of the numerous hand painted lettering style found in different part of India. So here you can see that it's have a dimensional effect, right? And Painter Umesh consists of 4 fonts which were used together to recreate the unique dimensional look found in Indian street lettering. If I go to next slide, this is Painter Soil, where this is also a digitalized version. Actually, Kafil visually different. This is kinds of different from the font Kafil. Here, the visually different is from the previous style, that is Painter Kafil is the named after his son Sohel, and is decorative and adorned with the floral motif. You can see here inside each letters you will get floral motif, and it consists of 8 fonts which, when used together, recreate the unique multicolored look of Indian street painting. So this is also one interesting font style design, font design of Indian street fonts or the lettering. Okay, now we will try to go deeper into the font, the experimentation with typography, and we'll talk about Satyajit Ray's children magazine called Shondesh. So actually, the magazine was first started in 1913 by Upendra Kishore Roy, who called it Shondesh to imply the nature of the magazine, which was informative and entertaining. The name, the Shondesh in Bengali is both news and a type of sweet. So in Bengali, Shondesh means a type of sweet, and we all know that Shandesh or Sandesha, news, right? So Upendra Kishore edited it till his death in 1915, and when his illustration, he did some illustration for this magazine also, and after his death, his son Shukumar Roy, the father of Satyajit Ray, took over. And after Shukumar's death in 1923, his brother Shobinoy continued this publication till 1934. And then when the magazine closed down, Satyajit Ray revived it after a gap of 27 years. So uh, Satyajit Ray was a multifaceted genius who will remembered as much of the graphic designing and illustration as for his storytelling power, and he's also a great artist. And before he made his name as a filmmaker, he designed book covers, film posters, as well as illustrated lots of children books, and had a mastery over calligraphy and typography. Where, well, here you can see his mastery in typography and experimented fonts. So he created numerous new fonts also in Bengali and four Roman font, and while receiving an award of designing the typeface for Ray Roman, one of renowned typeface, Ray Roman. So Ray's artistic work reflects to sophisticated experimentation with visual artistic style and tradition, both local and foreign, and without compromising on the aesthetic as well as the authenticity, right? So throughout his career, sketching, graphic design, and calligraphy were merged seamlessly with his filmmaking. So in 1961, Satyajit Ray relaunched this children magazine, Shondesh, that was originally founded by his grandfather. Well, I said before that to make the magazine more appealing to the children, Ray created all the illustration, including the cover, and also the cover design incorporated colorful geometrical as well as some floral patterns in saturated with primary colors with line textures, and it looks similar to the kind of wood block printing. So often using different folk motives, also from traditional day-to-day rangoli. In Bengali, they called alpuna, floral ornamentation. They called alpuna, and on the also he also kind of influenced with the Patachitra style of the narrative painting, and also experimenting with creative illustration. He created 4 comic strip, for Shondesh, and however, this comic strip were silent basically, and the character did not converse with each other. I didn't manage to get all those pictures that this comic strip from Shondesh, but I managed to to get some magazine cover, Shondesh magazine cover page. So I'll just show you. So constantly experimenting with using ink as well as pen, pencil, watercolors, and ordinary poster paint in different stylization. Ray's illustration are kind of striking in a way that marry playfulness with strong lines. Here you can see our very contoured kind of line as well as strong lines. And for readers, every cover of the magazine was a constant resource of surprise and delight. So in every edition, the readers used to get kind of new surprise with the cover design. And as with each issue, Ray played around with the word Shondesh, the name of the magazine, using different calligraphic and typographical styles. So since the theme of his publication, Shondesh was usually printed in the standard size, the standard size of magazine cover, that is 7.5 inches into 9.5 inches. But however, for a few years, for I think 2 to 3 years, from 1970 to 1973, Satyajit Ray experimented with the new size as an innovation to try and inspire child's imagination. So for these 3 years, it was published as a bi-monthly magazine, and for the first time in history of jubilant periods, in larger format of 13 inches into 10 inches. So yeah. So, and also in the subsequent years, magazine revived back to the original size, as I said, and Satyajit Ray's passing in 1992, Shondesh continued to be published with his son Shondeep Roy. He's also now contemporary filmmaker and at the helm, and now he also all the Shondesh now it's available online. So if I discuss about the if I go next slide, okay, let's discuss about this one. So Peacock Sheep. The Peacock Sheep is a recurring motif in Bengali fairy tales, with king and merchants and traveling to a distant sea. Here you can see the king and The merchants travel to distant sea in search of maybe fortune, and you can see the stylized lettering in the shape of a sail. And the crow probably suggests that the land is near. So this is also very interesting, and my favorite robot, space robot. So the happy space robot and its happy pair of eyes. You can see the everything about the design works, the color, the shape, and the electric radiation of happiness in form of a jagged contour. But well, the best of all is the tiny Shondesh in a large pair of mechanical hand. You can see a small, tiny Shondesh magazine, well, in the large pair of mechanical hand, of which create a strange sense of very enduring disparity. If I go to the next slide, yeah, king. So the absent minded ruler who neglect maybe his administrative duties for the sake of simple pleasure. From the childlike king, there's one film by Satyajit Ray for the children, Guppy Gain Bhagavan, very famous children film. To the actually to the literally minded ruler of Lucknow and the Satranj Ke Khilari, right? So a kind of literally minded ruler of Lucknow's Satranj Ke Khilari and Gupigan Bhagava is king. So to this one here who indulge both kind of, well, Shondesh and the sweet and the magazine, right? So the Sandesha, the sweet as well as magazine. So it's a kind of amalgamation of all the things. And it looks like the king, maybe he's not aware or concerned about anything, and he's just, well, happy and busy in eating rasgulla or the shondesh. Yeah, if I go to the next one, the clown, yeah. This is visibly different from the rest of the design, because this is the first Shondesh cover designed by Ray when he revived the magazine. So when he revived the magazine 1961, this is the first cover designed by Ray. If I go next, yeah, the ringmaster. I like the figure of the ringmaster here and how he's graphically constructed with, you can see the simple shape, with few shape Ray depicted the whole figure. So this is another interesting cover pick of magazine Shondesh. If I go to the next one, yes. Strong man. I love the simple humor of this piece, the composition, the expression of the palwana. So this is another interesting cover page. This is well, another interesting one, Hanuman. Actually, another early design first appeared in 1961, and the classic Shonde style is in the formation. Well, kind of here Ray tried to come up with the kind of experimentation with kind of block printing kind of format with the typography, and the theme is clear. It fuses two Hanuman stories into one. The image here plays on the myth of the monkey warrior carrying the mountain, and here you can see that here the mountain is not the actual mountain. Here the mountain of Shondesh, the sweet, right? And here also the Hanuman is also the original messenger, the Sandesha, that is, while the Indian mythology who carried Rama's message. So here it's depict two things, the mountain of Shondesh as well as he's carrying, the Hanuman carrying Sandesha through this magazine. So yes. Now I want to talk about hmm, another very interesting children magazine, Chanda Mama. So this is very popular monthly magazine, features folk tales, mythological tales, like stories from Mahabharata, Ramayana, and also stories from Vishnu Purans. So stories sent in by also by the reader, and moral stories along with current event from different state of India, and also fun fact was there and about various cultures from different part of India, the cultures from east to south, north to west. So it was also information and entertainment packaged in style of a comic book, with fonts and illustration that made, well, ever heavier content easily digestible. So this is a well, cover page in the year 1949. So from the independence era. Well, and the Chanda Mama was first published in July 1947. So this is one of the example from 1949. This is another cover pick. Well, the cover page design year 1986. This is 1996, and this is from the 2004. If you, well, check, if you compare with the previous years, here you can see that mostly hand drawn. Artists use well, watercolor, Fuji film color, as well as here in 2004, it's a kind of mingle of computer graphics, a kind of digitalized version. Though this is kind of hand illustrated, and maybe the graphic designer treated, given some graphical, well, punch to it. So that's the main change from the previous one. This is the most recent one, that is Chanda Mama, published in the year 2012. This is fully digitalized version. Here you can see different font, different illustration, and fully digitalized version. So again, if I show you the previous one from 1949, this is example from 1949, and from 1949 to 1986, see the stylization, and from 86 to 96, from 96 to 2004, and the transmission from 2004 to 2012. So as I said, that it's published in the year July 1949 in Telugu, and in Tamil as Abuli Mama. I think I pronounced the correct word. Abuli Mama by the filmmaker B. Nagi Reddy and Chakrapani. And in 1949, it began to publish in the several languages, Kannada and Hindi. And by 1990, Chanda Mama has been published in 13 regional languages, including Marathi, Malayalam, Gujarati, Bengali, and also in English. So it had been published in 13 different languages. So yeah, this is the story behind Chanda Mama. Okay, now we will discuss about the history of Indian matchbox art. Well, I think most of us, well, have a hobby to collect match boxes. So you can see radiant pink lotus flower, red hot papers, pouncing tigers, wrestling elephants, well, God, or maybe with bright, bold, diminutive, and dramatic, such as the imagery of, well, matchbox level of India. So unable to keep up with the demand in the decades prior to the World War One, most of the Indians matches were imported mainly from Sweden, Austria, and Japan. So around 1910, Japanese immigrants settling in the Calcutta began making matchsticks, okay? And locals learned the necessary skills, and a number of small match factories sprang up in and around the city. So, following the World War One, many manufacturer migrated to the state, mostly Tamil Nadu in the southern, where the climate was dry at that time, labor was cheap, and raw material was plentiful. So, owned and operated by, well, closely related Indian families, and to this day, the match king of South India, as they are known as, continue to produce the bulk of nation matchsticks. So, well, the matchsticks were still are produced by hand and primitive household as a small cottage industry. So I'll show you some of the example. Here, this is Matchbox Art made in Sweden. This is example, some of the illustration of Matchbox Art made in Japan. If I go to the next slide, this is made in India, right? And I have few more example to show you. Yeah. So these are some example. Big Boss, Cat brand. Here you can see the safety matches gentlemen. Yeah, this is also one interesting one. Okay, so now we will try to move to motifs and symbols. So you know that India is very rich in culture. Well, there are different temples and architectural, well, kind of palhotra of divinity in this particular field, and we get lots of motifs and patterns. So and an immense library of images, well, and the warehouse of symbols. So with which we surround ourselves, and is to, well, basically the patterns and symbol, well, the people and the, well, countrymen, they keep, or they used to, well, keep at their home, so to just ensure health, or maybe happiness, good fortune, and long life. So this motifs are actually open to endless interpretation and variation of use. So the craftsmen took their inspiration from legend of Vedas, Puranas, and other sacred stories, as well as nature also. Uh, and they used to get different shape of different motifs. Well, they got influence from the architectural patterns, or the temples, or the nature, and laced with religious belief, environment, culture, history, architecture, daily life activities. So motifs and pattern created by Indian craftsmen are a symbol of artistic intellect. So uh, we simply ignore. So here also, here we can see different motifs, and I think the authentic motifs and some of the, well, traditional motifs, they have some meaning inside it. So I'm want to just share a few of the stories behind the motifs, behind the symbols. So the symbols represent the concept and beliefs personified in human, animal form, floral, as well as also different geometrical shapes. So floral design were introduced by Turkish and Persian invaders during the time of, we can say, Mughal painting, Mughal miniature painting, and varied as a map of miniature. Um, the paradise gardens has a symbolic significance from Mughals. So they inspired design in carpets, well, made during Mughal period. So most varied, kind of floral and natural motif in Kashmir, or the testimony of Persian and Mughal influences. And in India, the very popular the peacock, lotus, elephant, and above all, the mango has a, well, has provided inspiration to embroideries to different times. So the mango is an overwhelming favorite, and variation are found in different part of the country. So under names associated with other object, kind of compare maybe less shape and size, and they try to experiment with kind of the shape, the basic shape, with the size. And also varied patterns found in the textiles are often symbolic based on religion and culture, also we use it for the prosperity, protection, and we also sometimes we say that, yeah, we generally use some symbols or pattern in belief that from evil spirit to just, well, it wavers means evil spirit to the waver. We just used to, well, keep it to, well, get rid from the evil or witchcraft or kind of thing. So Hindus often use also animals and symbolic figures such as Lakshmi, known as goddess of wealth, Krishna or the elephant god, Ganesh. Well, difference in work is based on the tradition, costume of tribe. We can say it varies to religion to religion, also the regions from different part of the country as well as caste. So and it's passing from mother to daughter, and again it's a kind of chain. It's passing from generation after generation. So okay, I just forgot to describe about this. This is Paisley motif, the design motif known as the Paisley. It is textile pattern characterized by beautiful curved abstract figures. Huh? So it's taken from the ancient Aryan bote motif. We call bote is a kind of Persian word. The meaning of this word is bush or the shrub, and we call it the cluster of leaves or a kind of small dense forest, right? So of small trees or bushes. So the meaning, it's come from the Persian word bote. So due to huge shawl production in Paisley, which is in Scotland, the pattern was given the name Paisley, right? And Paisley, an important motif, is widely used in Indian textile and in textile as well as in many embroideries. And it's a kind of droplet shaped motif which resembles mango kind of shape. You can see here it's kind of mango. It's called mangai motif or ambi, and in different part people call in different names. Which the ambi, which means mango in Punjab, I think, and it's also known as Kerry design, named after Urdu word of mango seeds. So of Indian and Persian origin. We also called kidney shaped motif, which is evolved in 17th century, floral and tree life design used in Mughal textile. And also the early motif usually, well, were of a single type of plant with large flowers, numerous consolated and microflowers, and thin stems. Here you can see very thin stems, right? And the pattern would connect with different region of our country. So this is a kind of very popular and very common motif. If we go to the next one, fish. Yes, the most of the folk cultures and folklore. The fish is considered as a universal symbol, right, for fertility and symbol of purity in many cultures. So fish is known for its beauty and free flow body, is true as a symbol of his life force, a force of regeneration and what to say, a kind of reincarnation and a charm against evil eyes. So Hinduism think of it as a sign of God as well as good fortune. Also, they appeared as Matsya were saviors in Indian myth, and also avatars of Vishnu in Varuna. So this is also very popular, and this stylization is typically called katha stitch. Katha stitch. It's mostly done in the eastern region of our country, mostly in West Bengal and Assam. So this is the story behind fish motif. Yeah, parrot motif. Parrot are lovebirds, considered as vehicle of Kamdeva, god of love and sex in Hindu mythology. So it symbolizes sensual desires. So courtship and passion scene in Indian art. Mostly, you can see that in company of Krishna and Radha. So it's depict the Hindus' eternal love. So parrot kind of it's easily depicted. It's parrot depicts kind of when the Krishna and the Radha, the company of Krishna and the Radha, and the eternal love, which also Hindu, according to the Hindu mythology and Hindu's eternal love, we also know that the symbol of love we can easily depict through Krishna and Radha, right? The company of both Krishna and Radha and parrots, and also peacock motif. So here you can see the peacock and parrot both. Considered as a the peacock motif mostly considered as the pious bird by the Hindu. Peacock is one of the most important motif used in embroidery, in textile ornamentation, also in different jewelries also, and also in textile like cotton, or whether it's silk fabric, or whether it's taat. In every fabric, this motif largely used. And you can see through Ras Leelas of Lord Krishna, all the dances are associated with peacock, and the motif is favorite of people of Punjab, Himachal Pradesh, and most of the other part of our country. And here we also can see a decorative motif on the wall of with bright colors. In different wall also we look at motifs where we try to depict parrot or peacock. And also a vehicle of goddess Saraswati, it finds mentioned in Rig Veda and Atharva Veda. The peacock motif was found on pottery excavated from Rig Veda and Atharva Veda, as I said before. And it's mostly we found this motif from the Indus Valley civilization, Mohenjo-daro. Some of the artifacts we see this kind of typical pattern or stylization of peacock as well as parrot. And also the this kind of Mauryan, we can say, Buddhist sculpture also, we also get some motifs, example of these motifs in during that period. Gupta art, as well as some of the miniatures from the we can say Mughal period, or Rajasthani miniature painting. And the image of peacock is also used in Vedi or the marriage podium in different Hindu families as a defensive charm to save the bride and groom from the evil eyes. So these are kind of belief from different families. They used to believe that if they draw, if they portray, if they depict this symbol, so they can save themselves from the evil eyes. So that's the kind of I don't know whether this is superstition or myth. Actually the Hindu people and most of the other region, they people from other region, they tried to believe on this myth, and they used to practice, and still they are still practicing this kind of depicting different patterns and symbol in front of their home, or in their different occasions when they used to socialize in a particular space. They generally used to draw different symbols and motifs. So if I go to the next one, the elephant, and you know that widely used as motif in Indian textiles. So elephant is a symbol of wisdom, fertility, prosperity, strength, royalty. So it symbolizes a kind of as a Vahan of Indra, the Vedic deity. The elephant is associated with also rain and fertility. So it's very popular motif we used in last day I show some wall painting of elephants in the Rajasthan region. Also, it was depicted on the seals excavated from Indus Valley time, and also on the Hindu and Buddhism architecture. Also, the elephant considers as the auspicious element in strongly build and convey wisdom among with its inherent auspicious strength. And elephant were used by king during wars, you know that. And in India, this come as symbolize of god of warriors, right? So, and also in according to the Asian culture, the elephant is a symbol of good luck, happiness, longevity. And it is admired for his, actually the elephant is admired for his, well, memory and high intelligence. And Indian culture, the elephant are symbol of mental strength and, I can say, earthiness or the responsibility. So, considered as the representation or the living incarnation of the Lord Ganesha, elephant are believed to bring good luck and prosperity. So that's why, well, we worship Lord Ganesha. So Ganesha is the god of success and destroyer of obstacles and evil. So we generally love to use elephant patterns in different textiles or in different graphic art. So in marriage card also we try to, well, sometimes we use peacock or sometimes we use elephant or Lord Ganesha's image. So these are the, well, myth regarding the use of symbols in modern graphic design or graphic art. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Yes, this is Lotus motif. So symbolizing purity, peace, cosmic harmony. The lotus represent the very core of mandala with its multi-petal depictions indicating the multiplicity of universe. In Hindu region, 8 petal lotus is depicted springing from the navel of Lord Vishnu, the protector upon which Brahma, the creator of the universe. Here, universe is represented by lotus, where each petal represent earth, fire, air, mind, intellect, ego. So, with which is growing out of the central sun with Brahma as giving rise to the concept of fertility and richness. So, Lord Krishna's feet are compared with the lotus, and Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth, is often, well, referred to as Padma or Kamala, and both meaning lotus. So the flower symbolize her prosperity as well as material wealth. So she's always shown holding lotus flower in her hand. So we generally worship lotus or Lord Krishna's feet, or sometimes it is symbolize Lakshmi ji. So lotus symbol lotus is very auspicious, as well as here you can see the parrot symbol here along with lotus. So yeah, this is also one interesting motif, well, hugely used in our country. If I go to the next, yeah, this is, I think you can guess, Rudraksh motif. So you know that Rudraksh beads are known to be spiritual and medically curative. Sadhu saints, they generally used to wear Rudraksh mala. And another myth, there, I don't know whether it's logical or not. If we wear Rudraksh beads, then we can lower our BP. So the word Rudraksh is made of two words, Rudra, Lord Shiva, and Aksha, eyes. So meaning the Shiva's eyes, third eye. Yeah? According to the human mythology, Lord Shiva meditate for 1000 years, and actually he meditated to destroy evil in the world. And finally, when he opened his eyes, he saw people in pain all around, and uh, a drop of tear from his eyes fell on ground, resulting in germination of tree bearing fruit of Rudraksha. So because of this, actually the association with Lord Shiva, the Sridhar considered highly auspicious, believed to be holding the creative energy of Shiva. And also the Rudraksha motif used in different textiles, different ornamentation of if we want to do ornamentation in our house, or we also often use in our jewelry the Rudraksha motif. So this is also very popular motif in India. If I go to the next slide, sun. So sun is considered as a source of life, we all know, and has a worshipped by the people of various culture and religion. So depicted as only divine form of visible to human eyes, sun play a vital role in Hindu rituals. So according to the Hinduism, sun rides a chariot drawn by 7 horses. We can see in the sun temple in Konark, Orissa, and represent the 7 color of light. So chronicled in Rig Veda, Gayatri Mantra, the foremost mantra in Hinduism and Hindu belief, is also a prayer to give her the light and life. So sun and the and in actually in Hindu mythology, the sun god is worshipped as a symbol of health and immortal life. So every day we do Surya Namaskara, and we used to arpan water to sun god, and also the sun god is worshipped as a symbol of health, for good fortune. In Rig Veda, it declared that the Surya is the soul, both of the moving and unmoving beings. So yogis, sadhus, sons devise the sun salutation, which is comprehensive exercise and which contribute to the mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual well-being. So taking creative inspiration from sun, textile artist and the graphic artist adapted as a maybe textile motif, mostly sun, this kind of motif mostly used in textiles. So and they all are free to do kind of experimentation with this motif, the sun motif. So they do various experimentation with this motif, and they used to kind of do enlarge, they used to reduce it, they used to kind of do a little kind of experimentation with the rays, the inner circle. So mostly the motif, you can see the various stylization of this motif in the Kanjivaram, which is in Tamil Nadu, and Ikat saris of the Orissa, and also Pulkari of Punjab. They use this kind of sun motif, experimented sun motifs. And also Gujarati embroidery, the embroideries from the Gujarat region, they also use sun motif and the pattern in their textile. Okay, the next one. This is we call Kalpataru, or the tree of life. So found across civilization, tree of life is an ancient motif having a long history. So according to the Hindu mythology, it is known as Kalpataru, or a symbol of wish fulfillment. There is, the Ram Krishna Paramahansa Dev, 1st January, the history said that 1st January he turned to a Kalpataru, and every devotees went to him, and he fulfilled all the devotees' wishes. So this is one history from Dakshineshwar temple from Bengal, West Bengal. So the ideal illustrated by this motif is all living thing on this earth are interconnected, right? So where here you can see the branches. So with branches of tree reaching out to the sky and root deep in the earth, the motif projects the idea of sustenance of all life form amid fertility, we can say knowledge, nourishment, protection, and in the end of the death, it's a kind of connection with our roots, right? So the first Evidence of tree motif can be seen in mural of Ajanta caves belonging to Gupta period. A tree motif is also seen narrating Jataka tale with his branches, interconnected, smaller related scenes from the tale. And during Mughal period, in different Mughal miniature painting also, it evolved into a widely used decorative motif. And basically they used the motif in the border in Mughal miniature painting, and they used this decorative motif form exclusive to wealthiest classes only during 17th or 19th century. While Palamore, the cotton bed covered, it was portrayed and a central following tree surrounded by the vases. So this is kind of very popular during the Mughal culture. And then the artists, the craftsmen took influence, they got influenced, and they generally depicted that kind of, is a kind of breaking the motive, and they try to do little kind of experimentation. And if we come to this modern version of the Kalpataru or the tree of life, if we just compare with this Kalpataru with the previous one during Mughal miniature painting, it's totally different. So that's why it's a huge journey from the past till present. And the craftsmen, they did lots of experimentation with the patterns and motif. They did they enlarge it, they decrease the size, they increase the size, they put some other elements to it. And in this way they incorporated and they depicted different version. They provided a different version to it. So that's the history of the journey from past till present about the motifs and symbols related with Indian culture. So today I'll end here. And if you have any question, please feel free to ask. Do you have any question, guys? No question, right? So
Bikram sir.
yes, who is this? May I know your name, please? Jayanti, yes.
Myself. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
From your speech, मुझे अपने बचपन में मैं चली गई थी। बचपन में हम लोग
Okay.
ऐसे चीनी का वो जमा करते थे भैया और हम लोग उसमें जो
कौन
पिक्चर है
अच्छा,
वो
कौन सी
काट
चीज
काट
जमा
के
जमा करती थी आप? मतलब मैं सुन नहीं
मैच
पाया।
बॉक्स के जो
मैच
कवर
बॉक्स,
है ना
यस 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 यस।
जमा
या
करते थे।
या
और हम लोग मैगजीन रखते थे हम लोग वो चंदा मामा का।
यस
तो
यस।
उस टाइम में वो क्रेज था कौन पहले मैगजीन पढ़ेगा। उसके बाद आया आनंद मेला। आनंद
आनंद
मेला
वाला,
is
यस
still going
यस यस।
is going on and the knowledgeable magazine actually.
या
But in the Ahmedabad side there is no
यस यस यस। सो
like
हम लोगों के पास
but
बहुत सारे मेमोरीज हैं वो बचपन के मैगजीन्स के बारे में। और हम लोग को जर्नी उस मैगजीन, अभी अगर आनंद मेला आप अगर अगर देखेंगी, पहले का आनंद मेला का जो कवर पेज रहा, या चंदा मामा हो या संदेश, अभी तो शायद आपको ऑनलाइन ही मिलेंगे। संदेश के जितने भी पत्रिका हैं वो आपको ऑनलाइन ही आप उनको देख पाएंगी। और शायद आनंदो पब्लिशर्स, one of the publishing house in Kolkata, they published all the Shondesh potrikas in one combined book. एक मोटा वाला किताब में वो सभी gathered करके published किए हैं. So you can see the journey about the using of text or the graphic they used in their, well, in earlier days, how they used to generally, well, used in their pages, and how they used to treat their cover pages. And now well, after ages, it's kind of changing, huh? Change आपको दिखेंगे। तो that's the main journey and जो
ये सर
incredible
पर
Indian के
जब
cultures हैं।
जब हमने स्टार्टिंग में थे तब हम लोग ये इनटेक किए हम लोग सब इनका डिजाइन और इसके जैसे नंदलाल जी का मोटिव भी अजंता से लाए गए जो है वो चित्रकला से हम बहुत स्टडी किए और वो लेकिन धीरे धीरे हम जब दिल्ली में शिफ्ट हुए उधर जब ड्राइंग और पेंटिंग के इंडस्ट्रियल ओरिएंट जब आया था तब उसमें हमारा कॉस्ट कटिंग रिगार्डिंग कोई कलर चाहिए, कोई कलर नहीं चाहिए, वो हमें सोचना पड़ता था। थर्ड, जब मैं फिर से सोमानी में ज्वाइन की, तो उसमें भी ऐसा है कि प्रोसेस अकॉर्डिंग, ये जर्मन कोलैबोरेशन कंपनी था हमारा जो ड्राइंग होता था उसमें
ओके।
का हाई टेक्नोलॉजी है, बट साइड बाय साइड अपना जो आर्टिस्ट थे वो एज एज चीप एज पॉसिबल से बेटर रिजल्ट देते थे। वो हम एक रेड इंक यूज करके, और वो हम लोग डेवलप करते थे ना डार्क रूम में। उससे जो मोटिव मिलता था नेगेटिव पॉजिटिव करने के बाद, तो वो सिरामिक डिजाइन का जो मोटिव होता था, डिकॉल्स जो बोलते थे, तो उसमें अप्लाई करते थे। तो लुक, कुछ दिन बाद उनको पता चला कि मुझे वो नॉलेज है, पर उनसे पहले वो लोग क्या करते थे, स्प्रे गन यूज करके उसका रिदम डेप करते थे, उसको 20% हाई रिजोल्यूशन में उसका करते थे, फिर देन इसको रिड्यूस करते थे, तो वो रिजल्ट अच्छा आता था। पर जो रेडिंग से किया गया है, उसमें मोटिव का जो सर्कल वो कभी ब्रेक नहीं होता है। स्क्रीन प्रिंटिंग, ऑफसेट प्रिंटिंग हो या आपका स्क्रीन प्रिंटिंग हो, जो भी। तो ये मुझे लगता है कि ट्रेडिशनल के साथ टेक्निकली हमें सोचना जरूरी है कि कौन सा हमारे लिए ठीक है, आवर एनवायरमेंट, इन आवर, जो कॉस्ट कटिंग भी हो और इजी भी हो और लर्न भी कर सकते हैं, easy होगा तो बोथ, दोनों साइड में एनवायरमेंट एंड कॉस्ट दोनों का ही बैलेंस होगा। मुझे ये लगता
सही बोल रही हैं जयंती जी। एक्चुअली क्या है कि अभी अब अगर हम लोग इस पहलू में सोचें कि आउटपुट कैसा होना चाहिए, तो अगर मानिए कि मैं एक कैनवस में पेंटिंग कर रहा हूँ और अपने हिसाब से कोई भी कलर पैलेट चूज कर रहा हूँ, वो कोई भी टोन हो सकता है, कोई भी शेड्स हो सकते हैं, पर मैं अगर उसको पब्लिश करना चाहूँ, मैं जब उसका एक आउटपुट अगर निकालना चाहूँगा, कोई भी प्रिंट टेक्निक हो, वो मानिए कि ऑफसेट हो या सिल स्क्रीन हो या डिजिटल वर्जन हो, सो उसके लिए हम लोगों को उस प्रिंट टेक्निक, पेपर क्वालिटी, किस फॉर्मेट में वो प्रिंट होने वाला है, वो विनाइल हम लोग प्रिंट कर रहे हैं या फ्लेक्स प्रिंट कर रहे हैं या 300 जीएसएम पेज पेपर में हम लोग प्रिंट कर रहे हैं, तो ये सब इन पहलुओं को हम लोगों को सोचकर बहुत ही ध्यान में रखते हुए हम लोगों को ये कलर इंप्लीमेंटेशन करना है कि हम लोग चाहकर भी, आप जैसे कह रही थी कि हम लोग चाहकर भी सभी टोन यूज नहीं कर सकते अपने पेंटिंग में। हम लोग अगर मानिए कि सिल स्क्रीन में 2 कलर अगर होगा, तो हम लोग वही मानिए कि रेड और ब्लैक, अगर 2 कलर हम लोग इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं प्रिंट के लिए, तो वही 2 कलर हम लोग कोशिश करेंगे अपने क्रिएटिविटी जो हम लोग अपना आउटपुट बना रहे हैं, आउटपुट के लिए जो भी आर्ट वर्क बना रहे हैं, तो उसमें वो 2 कलर यूज करें ताकि उसका प्रिंट अच्छा आए। और वो हम लोग इन इफ यू वांट टू प्रिंट इट इन मास अमाउंट, सो दैट्स आल्सो वी नीड टू टेक केयर ऑफ। आपने कहा कि कॉस्टिंग, वो भी हम लोगों को ध्यान में रखना है, तो इन सब चीजें हम लोगों को ध्यान में रखना चाहिए। जैसे सत्यजीत रे अपने कुछ संदेश पत्रिका जो है, जो मैगजीन में है, उनका फ्रंट कवर में बहुत इन इन पहलुओं को बहुत ध्यान में रखते हुए वो किए हैं। वो बहुत ही सिंपल ज्योमेट्रिकल शेप और वाइब्रेंट फ्लैट कलर्स यूज किए हैं ताकि वो उसका प्रोडक्शन आउटपुट बहुत ही अच्छा है, बहुत ही वाइब्रेंट और कलरफुल आए। सो
सर, उसके लिए मैं वही बोल रही हूँ कि सत्यजीत राय के जो है ना, ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट में भी आप देखिए, गोपी गायन बाघाबाइन अगर देखें, उनका इंट्रोडक्शन सिर्फ देख ले, कितना
यस यस,
क्रिएटिविटी यार, कितना क्रिएटिव वो बनाया। मेरे ख्याल से सबको देखना चाहिए वैसे।
एकदम जरूर
और एक,
जरूर जरूर।
सर और
ब्लैक
भी
एंड
एक
व्हाइट,
है,
आप
देखिए।
जयंती जी आप ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट कह रही थी, अगर उनका कुछ इलास्ट्रेशंस अगर देखें, उनका एक बहुत ही मतलब
बहुत
पॉपुलर, वेरी पॉपुलर फेलुदा सीरीज जो है, फेलुदा के जो उनकी इलास्ट्रेशंस है वो सिंपल ब्लैक में और
आई
नेगेटिव
एम
स्पेस में।
वन ऑफ द फैन ऑफ फेलुदा। फेलुदा के
या
कोई भी बुक मैं नहीं छोड़ती, और अपना स्टडी बुक साइड में रख के छुप छुप के ये पढ़ती थी
सो
मैं फेलुदा वाला। और रिसेंट देखिए, उसके बाद भी जो है, कलर का कोई प्रॉब्लम आए, अगर आर्टिस्ट फीडबैक दे, तो ये इंडस्ट्री को भी ठीक से लेना चाहिए। जैसे हरीश का बहुत अच्छे कलर कॉम्बिनेशन उनका होता है, सिरामिक का बहुत नाम है। पर कोई कलर ना किसी और कलर के, ऑरेंज या ब्लैक के साथ ऐसा कुछ है, रिएक्शन होकर जल जाता था। तो इसका भी सॉल्यूशन उनको मतलब मेरे ख्याल से ऐसे पॉजिटिवली लेके सोचना चाहिए। तो कोलैबोरेशन सबसे जरूरत है। इंक वाले, चाहे इंक, चाहे पेपर, चाहे किसी में भी है, अगर ये रिसर्च एक टीम हो जो ये सारे को मतलब गलती कहाँ हो रहा है, क्या हो रहा है, फीडबैक अच्छे से ले, पॉजिटिवली ले, से अपना देश बहुत आगे जा सकता
सही है, बिल्कुल सही बोल रही हैं आप। Okay, thank you, sir. Are you there? So, with your permission, we'll end our today's session.
Yes, Vikram, I am here, no problem. If anyone have any question, then most welcome. Beside the Jayanti ma'am.
Yeah, Bikram sir, this is Ankit Mathur this side. A very
Yes.
basic kind of a question. It may sound naive to you. I just wanted to, first of all, thank you for letting us go through the entire history of the design and how we have evolved from human art, to digitization. But at the end, just a small question: how does all these examples correlate with the current subject of social design?
The thing is, actually, during my last session also, I tried to depict the traditional kind of artwork or the outputs, and I try to relate with today's very kind of, what to say, we call contemporary art, right? So today's practice, I try to connect with today's practice with with our traditional art form. So today, the first I try to depict I showed the few images from the traditional truck painting and the street painters, how they used to do their letterings and all, and now how painter Umesh and others, they try to digitalize that hand printed lettering in their digital version. So that's the connection, and this is, we can say that we can relate with this today's social design with the previous traditional art form.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ankit, for your question. Anyone have any other question? Hopefully not, no problem. Thank you everyone for your valuable time and patience. We will again meet at 5 p.m. today with Dr. Ajanta Sen for last session of the technology related thing. And now I am heartily thankful to the Bikram sir from faculty member from Srishti Manipal Institute of Design, Bangalore. Myself, Manish Arora, a principal investigator of Spark project at BHU and faculty member, Department of Applied Art, Faculty of Visual Art, Banaras Hindu University. Thanking to all of you for your valuable time, participation and presence for today's lecture in Fundamental of Social Design, 3-month part-time certificate course in association with Maryland Institute, College of Art, Baltimore, MICA, and Michigan State University, USA. Thank you, everyone. See you again at 5 p.m. Thank you, Bikram, sir.
Thank you, sir.
And
Thank you.
everyone have a happy Friendship Day.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes, happy Friendship Day.